Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
The West is in a snow drought, mountain areas delayed opening, and limited ski runs. But nonprofit recreation area Bogus Basin has a secret weapon against the warming conditions.
I talked to the snowmakers and I was like, just start making snow up there. And we picked a spot. We called it Project X. We just made a giant pile of snow.
I'm Jamie Geary. How Bogus Basin opened with snow stored last season. Listen on BoiseStatePublicRadio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. We've got news on a controversial new bill that goes after the pride flag that flies in front of Boise City Hall. Plus, we'll tell you why the Boise City Council will be talking about Betty the Washerwoman later today. It is Tuesday, the 27th of January. Here we go with today's stories. The city of Boise last year adopted the pride flag and the organ donor flag as official city flags. It complies with a new state law that restricts flags to be only official. As Troy Oppie reports, GOP House Representative Ted Hill has proposed new legislation which would ban official city and county flags entirely, calling what Boise did last year a, quote, middle finger to the legislature.
During an introductory hearing Monday, Hill incorrectly told the House State Affairs Committee that Boise Mayor Lauren McLean made the pride flag an official city flag by executive order. In fact, the decision was made last spring by a 5-1 vote of the Boise City Council.
It's not inclusive to put up some flag that represents 2 or 3% of the population. Let's put a flag that represents everybody. That's the focus of this bill.
Hill's new legislation introduces penalties for non-compliance, and he added an exception for a Basque flag. But the ban on cities and counties flying their own flags drew resistance. Republican Representative Stephanie Jo Mickelson says the proposal throws the baby out with the bathwater.
You don't want to have like a pride flag, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Representative Hill.
Correct.
Okay, so then I have a question. We have light poles all down certain boulevards. They do things like the Roaring Youth Jam, or they do the art festival, or they do that thing. So then they would be denied the ability to fly those flags.
The proposed law would apply to government-owned property and roads, but specifically not Boise's Harrison Boulevard, which is owned by the Neighborhood Association. The committee approved introducing the bill, but amended it to include language allowing cities and counties to display their official flags. That's roughly the same as the existing law. It's not clear if the new bill will receive a full hearing. Troy Oppie, Boise State Public Radio News.
At the Capitol, a new proposal that would end the requirement to have a vehicle registration sticker on Idaho license plates. The sponsor, GOP House Representative John Weber from Madison County.
This came about when I registered my personal vehicle, and I was handed the stickers, and the thought triggered in my mind. I'm thinking, why are we doing this? And as I studied this out and realized that how many vehicles, either you couldn't read the sticker, it wasn't on the plate, or it was covered up.
Weber says he has talked to law enforcement, county sheriffs, and state police about the proposal, but
they're all over the board. When you talk to, depending on who you talk to, and Idaho always prides itself on being innovative and reducing red tape, if you will. This is a program that could certainly fit that category.
Now, Weber told the House Transportation Committee on Monday that getting rid of the vehicle registration stickers, that program would save the state about $300,000. So the measure is now headed to a full public hearing before the House Transportation Committee, and that hearing will hit their schedule in the coming days. Wildfires and their many impacts are shaping up to be a major focus of lawmakers across the region this year. And as the Mountain West News Bureau's Murphy Woodhouse reports, there's a new tool to track those legislative efforts.
Insurance premiums are rising, homes and neighborhoods are being damaged and destroyed. Smoke is affecting health.
wildfire has numerous consequences for the West.
I think it is one of the most significant issues that Western states should be dealing with, and that we need a regional approach because fires do not respect any state or local government boundaries.
That's Howard Watts, a Democratic Nevada Assembly member. He's also the co-chair of the Western branch of the Council of State Governments Wildfire and Disaster Preparedness Committee. They recently developed an online bill tracker that allows lawmakers and the public across the West see what wildfire-related reforms their counterparts have recently passed or are currently debating.
This is a complicated, multifaceted issue, and there is not a silver bullet to any one of these issues.
With tools like the tracker, he says, leaders can learn from each other's successes and failures. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
At Boise City Hall later today, some pleasant news. Today, the Boise City Council will be asked to designate Betty the Washerwoman as an official landmark. Built around 1959, Betty, the animatronic washerwoman, looks out over Vista Avenue, and while the businesses below her have changed, Betty remains. Mary Jean Wagner and her husband adopted Betty when they bought what was an old dry cleaning business, and they turned it into a restaurant, Cucino di Paolo, and of course, Betty remained.
There was just so many stories that I was amazed at how she had touched the heart of so many people.
In a story that we brought to you in 2025, we learned that Betty is part of a union. She must be, because she doesn't work outside when it's too hot.
Because if the temperature in Boise rises over 100 degrees, there's a little switch that shuts her off so she doesn't overheat. She doesn't wash clothes when it's over 100 degrees.
So, with a recommendation from the Historic Preservation Commission, later today, the Boise City Council will be asked to approve the request to make Betty a landmark, and that meeting gets underway at 6 p.m. And that story, we have a full feature on Betty's history put together by our Julie Lucata. You can revisit that on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org, and on the Boise State Public Radio app. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. Say, I had a conversation on today's morning edition with the new Boise City Council president and the new Boise City Council president pro tem. And we talked about, oh my gosh, so many topics. I would really like for you to listen to that. You can find it on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org, and on the Boise State Public Radio app. I'll be back here on Wednesday. For now, thanks for listening.
Hey, I'm Peter Pruitt from Zoo Idaho.
And I'm Dr. Leif Tapinola with the Idaho Museum of Natural History.
Together we host The Nature of Idaho, a podcast all about how our state's amazing landscapes, wildlife, and geology shape life here in the Gem State.
Each week we dive into nature stories from across Idaho, everything from fossils to forests, and sometimes even a few fun facts you can share on your next hike.
So join us as we celebrate everything that makes wild Idaho special.
Listen to The Nature of Idaho from KISU, wherever you get your podcasts, or at KISU.org.